All
It's
right.
Saturday morning.
So so Albert joins us this Saturday morning. He is with a company called Albert's List, but it's not really a list, is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a Facebook community, and you could say the list that we have is a list of recruiters and career coaches that people can use to help find their next job. And I mean, because it's also in a Facebook
It's a
group, you could say
group.
that
It's a
there's
group then.
yeah, and there's like a very long list of available jobs and opportunities that people can apply for too.
They can access it where? Through you or through Facebook?
They can access it through Facebook if they go to their browser and they go to Albert's job listings and referrals, San
Yeah,
Francisco Bay Area.
yeah.
They can join the community from there, and there are over 45,500 people in the group.
Oh, so it's a long list. So if you are part of the group, you can access either the people looking or the people offering.
Yes, so people will make introductions, and then also people will post their job listings with their job descriptions, and sometimes also with contact information.
Okay, so aside from that, you are also a recruiter by profession.
I am not a recruiter. My day job is I'm a marketing writer, a marketing writer and content strategist.
Oh,
And
I thought you were a
what got me into
recruiter.
this was that I struggled with my job search early on in my career. This
Yeah,
was about 8 years ago,
yeah.
and I had trouble from networking to interviewing, but I was able to find a little bit of success in my job search, and so I ended up creating this Facebook community because I wanted to help other people.
Oh, that's a good
And
idea then.
I didn't intend it to grow more than a couple thousand, but it ended up doing really well. And I was able to turn it into what it is today, which is a community
Oh,
of
so
45,000 people, and really being able to serve others.
you can turn it into a recruiting agency since you have so many contacts.
Yeah, that is very true. I frequently think about that,
Okay.
if that's as a direction of where I want to take it.
But
Yeah.
then that will be making a leap from a job that give you secure income. But
Yeah.
there is also income in being a recruiting agency.
True. Yep.
So,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
I'm
you can make
glad
a
that
lot of money with a recruiting staffing agency for sure.
So people contact you sometimes directly to see if you have a job or they don't.
They do, and I usually point them to my community and tell them that job opportunities are available there. And if they reach out to me often enough, sometimes I will tag them in an open job listing and see what they're all about.
So let's say I'm on Facebook. Where would the person find the candidate by type of profession um, and the companies recruiting or the companies who are offering a position? How is it set up on Facebook? Do they have a way to do that?
So there's not really a way to reach out to other candidates, although if a candidate does introduce themselves in the
Okay.
community, or if you want to go to the community and search for somebody who is a particular profession, that's one way to reach out. Another way to do it is to post your job directly on Facebook, and then in the group rather, and then from there be able to um,
To get
have
attention.
people comment on the post and say that they're interested, or people click through to your link and reach out to you for open listings and available jobs.
Do you track how many candidates versus number of job posting there are, or you couldn't care less?
I do not do that. No, that would be very manual and would really require, I would say, a separate technology system to understand it.
Okay, to track down
Yeah,
how many offers and how many demands.
correct. Yeah,
It would
yeah,
be very hard. Yeah, so the
it
best,
would be.
but you have a big following, so uh,
Yeah.
it makes sense maybe to say, hey, do a shout out and say, hey, guess what? From now on, I am Albert's agency. Uh,
Yeah.
Reach out to me or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep. Yep.
That'll be the next move if you feel like quitting your job. So you like your day job?
I do. I do. I'm a content writer at a HR software company,
Yeah.
and so that's interesting because it puts me. I basically think about HR all day long, whether it's Albert's List or the
Oh,
job
it's
that I'm at.
HR. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
HR, some people don't like HR because it's like a block between the person you're going to work for and it's like a middleman that you don't really need to deal with. Um,
Well, HR is necessary because there are certain regulations that you have to follow, whether you're in the
okay.
office or out of the office.
Okay.
They serve as a point of negotiation when it comes to disputes between colleagues and coworkers.
Okay.
And, they're also responsible for helping companies both onboard new employees as
Oh
well
yeah, that's
as,
after the
yeah,
recruiting, after the job
yeah.
on board. But
And it's understandable for a lot of companies that uh, HR seems like the enemy because they're just there to make things harder. But in reality, they are there if you're doing the right thing in the company to help make things easier and run smoother. Otherwise, if HR's if you're not being the person, a good person within the company, then yeah, HR probably seems evil because you yourself are probably
let's say
not
you're
doing what you're
looking
supposed to.
for let's say you're looking for a marketing position, don't you want to see
Yeah.
directly the person you're going to work with?
That is true, and so I think that brings another idea into where the job world is these days, because in today's career world, you do have a lot of people um, who are applying for jobs, right? Jobs have thousands upon thousands of applicants to every single one of their open postings. And so if you decide to apply directly, you're going to talk to HR first. But I think if you're talking about being chosen, exclusively for a job opportunity and going past those, what you could call gatekeepers, you
Yeah.
go directly to the person who is hiring for that job. And oftentimes the best way to do this is if you know the person who is hiring. And this
How
is
about
this is
how about
networking.
startups? They don't have too many. They don't have like thousands of employees yet, so they can skip the HR and outsource to
A
another.
lot of HR, a lot of startups outsource their HR, right? There's a lot of third-party solutions like
Yeah.
ADP or TriNet or whatever that offer pre-built
All,
solutions
yeah. All
um,
the
on their
requirements.
behalf. Yeah,
All
yeah.
the
And
requirements.
so that's another great way to do it because, especially if you're a smaller company, because you want to focus on growing your company and making your product as opposed to getting busy recruiting. And so that's why there's a lot of staffing and recruiting agencies
Yeah.
because they
They
do
work
the
down.
HR work better than the companies themselves. But ultimately, going back to it all, what you're mentioning is the action of networking and being able to find people who know you, relate to you, went to school with you,
Yeah.
or you've worked on projects before or worked with before, who can vouch for you at a smaller company and say, hey, um, Alina worked with me before. She's
Yeah.
very good at what she
Yeah.
does, and and um,
Like
and
Rob
I'd
did
like
with
to bring
you.
her in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't attend the Friday night anymore, but there are new meetups available. Uh,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
they pop every day. They come and go. Meetups.
They do.
They're not steady. Okay, so the list is actually a service to the community at this point. It's not yet um, a for-profit organization yet.
We make a little bit of money, so our primary source of revenue is from events and corporate sponsorship.
Oh, you
So we're always looking
okay?
for companies who are looking to reach out to the community and hire for available and open jobs to work with us to run exclusive events where we can really focus on the audience members, and invite them to the event so that they can speak to a very relevant audience. On the flip side, we also have a lot of events ongoing on Eventbrite that also have a small ticket charge to them, starting at $7,
Oh,
where you can join
your
anything
meetup? You
from
have a meetup, right?
Eventbrite page, and then I promote through Meetup as well.
Okay,
And
I didn't know you had an Eventbrite event. I mean, oh, with your co-sponsors. Okay.
yeah, yeah, and so our events are everything from learning how to become a better interviewer to improving your networking. And then we also even have an event on the 28th of April called uh, how to start your side hustle. And so we're always thinking of different ways to how people in the Bay Area can improve the way that they do business and think about business and work, because we
So
want them
April
to
28th, that's tomorrow.
well, it's
Oh,
it's
that's
March
in the month.
27th
It's in the
today.
month. Sorry,
It's
sorry.
in a month. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
No
it's this
worries.
month. It's a Friday,
It's
Monday.
it's a it's a Wednesday or Tuesday, I believe.
So your event is not at the same time every
It's a Wednesday.
week.
Yeah,
Every
it's not at the same time. Because we're still, very much virtual. I do accommodate speakers. Sometimes I have speakers that are not in the Bay Area and are in New York City or other places. And so our events generally start at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock every on the nights that we do them.
Okay. And you organize them and you bring in a guest speaker.
We bring in a guest speaker, they provide a presentation, and then the audience members join us and let us know
So what
whether
is
they
the
like it or
event
not.
called on Meetup?
We don't have a uniform name for everything. So it's everything from mock interview and feedback to becoming a confident introvert to live resume workshops and jobs reports and things like that.
Okay,
And
so it's
so
not a specific Albert List meetup.
yeah, we don't have a specific meetup group. We do partner up with a lot of other meetup
With
groups to
like
promote
with
our
Rob
events.
once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. So I will post our events on Rob's Idea to
Okay.
IPO meetup page. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people branch out and do their own meetup after
Yeah, he's very generous allowing me to post
on his
our events to his
mailing
meetup group.
list on
Yeah.
his group. Okay, yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
The one that formed the global innovator that formed after the Friday night meetup where I met you.
Uh-huh.
They, they are not growing with leaps and bounds like Rob list of 1900 or more. They just
Oh yeah.
they're still at just 30 people, but it takes
Hmm.
time to build up a following for
It
meetup.
does. It does. It does. It really
So yours
does.
started slow, and then all of a sudden it was word of mouth, and everybody started to join.
Yeah, it's been word of mouth since the very beginning. And so that's pretty much all we've used to expand outward. And so
Okay.
uh, you know, people found this resource, they started sharing it with other friends, and then people started recommending it to other people. And so
Is it
uh,
nationwide? Yes, it is not just the California meetup.
we do allow anyone in as long as they email us, but we also do have other regional communities as well. You can find Albert's List communities in the Sacramento area,
Yeah.
Southern California, Texas, and New York City. And so if you add up all of our communities beyond the Bay Area together, there are about 52,000 people.
Okay, so there are other little branches here and there.
Correct. Yeah.
And then you separate them on Facebook or no?
You can. So if you go to Albert's Job Listings and Referrals, Sacramento and Northern California, or Albert's Job Listings and Referrals, Southern California, or Albert's Job Listings and Referrals, Texas area, or Albert's Job Listings and Referrals, New York City, Those will
there's
all get
there's a
you
community
groups in
that's
those regions. Yeah.
springing there. Yeah, and then when when people post a job, are they aware that you have little sections of cities or
They are aware. They
oh,
can
they
be.
are.
They're definitely aware that we have multiple cities because it is in our group admin documentation.
Okay, and what's a typical job posting on your list? Is it mostly tech or is it other things like
It is mostly tech. We do have some other things that include everything from nonprofits to operations to admin assistant type work. But
okay,
the vast majority of people who are on Albert's list tend to be software engineers, data scientists, product managers, marketing managers, and then we also have some accounting and finance professionals as well.
okay, so yeah, because you are yourself in tech right now, right?
I am, yeah. I've been working in tech my entire life, the last 10, 15 years. And
You can do it with your
it's
eyes closed by now.
there's something new that comes out every single day. And so it's definitely always an adventure.
Oh, you
Because
know
I've
the new innovation out there, the new softwares, the new this.
Yeah, I work in HR software now. Before this, I worked in learning and development software, and then prior to this, I've been pretty much doing everything that's been related in the cloud, whether it's cloud infrastructure um, or uh, or networking and networking infrastructure, like software-defined networking, and then yeah, there's just so many different technologies out there, and it's
Yeah.
very amazing how uh, how many things just run underneath the hood that we don't know every day that we use.
Oh,
Whether it's when you apply to a job online, or even what we're doing right now, right? On the front side, it's a very simple video conferencing platform that we're using in Zoom,
oh,
but
really?
underneath the hood, right? Like it's this runs on a cloud solution that uses a certain amount of data that allows us to be able to see each other in crisp high definition video,
Wow.
and there's a lot of different technologies that
Oh,
support the
yeah, a lot of them came out after COVID because there's such a huge demand for video conferencing.
yeah.
So do you work mostly on video conferencing until everything opens up?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been using Zoom, using Slack, Facebook,
Yeah.
and all these different platforms, and so it'll probably be this way until things open up. I mean, I've also updated my home office. I recently got a standing desk. I now
Wow.
have dual screen monitors
Okay.
in front of me here, and so I'm ready to work from home for a very, very long time if that's what
Oh,
is needed.
yeah, a lot of corporations said stay home even after we reopen because
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
too expensive to give you an office space, basically.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And
Yeah.
it's also what is also different is the toll that a commute takes. Having to drive to work, and especially if you live far away from work, where you have to
Exactly. The
drive to a
commute
BART station or drive to a bus, and then take that bus,
and
transfer
drop
buses.
kids off to the sitter and
Yeah, and so I understand that for some people that is a necessary need, but for most people it is not necessarily all too important now because being able to literally, get up, walk over to my desk here, sit down, and then start this interview with you is so much easier than, say, getting up, getting dressed,
go
driving
come to my
to
studio. Yeah.
yeah, go to a nice like the one that you have behind you, and then sit down, talk for an hour, and then maybe it's like a 1 hour trip both ways in, and
Yeah.
before I know it, most of my day is over.
And also in the past, I couldn't get too many people from the South Bay because it took them like 2 hours to come to the city, 2 hours to go
Yeah,
back. And it was really doing me a favor when they came all the way to the studio because
yeah, Yeah.
Really, it's
And
really,
that's why I personally moved to San Mateo when I moved back from LA.
oh,
I moved out from the Bay Area to LA a couple of years ago to go and work there, because I wanted to see something different.
yeah,
And then I moved back. And when I moved back, I thought about what it meant to be in a place that was optimal to location. And so I chose San Mateo because it's a half hour into San Francisco, a
yeah.
half hour into San Jose, and if for some reason I find myself needing to go to Oakland, it's another half hour to 45 minutes. And so it's right in the middle of everything. If I change jobs, I have multiple options.
Yeah,
And if I need to see someone in the South Bay, it's a half hour trip. If
yeah.
it's somebody I need to see in San Francisco, it's also a half hour trip. And so
Okay.
it's very optimized location wise for the Bay Area. Um, even when COVID ends and we go back to some kind of normalcy.
Yeah, they say 76% of workers want to keep working from home, and only 24% want to go back to the office because they like the socializing part of it. But
I do want to go back to the office, maybe very part time. So if I end up going back to
on
the office,
Friday to socialize,
or like once or twice a week, or if there's a meeting that requires
oh
everyone
yeah,
to be in the office at once, then yes, absolutely. But other than that, I want to stay at home because I'm just more efficient.
those big Salesforce towers and all that,
Yeah,
they totally empty right now. Only the upper
yeah.
management uses them. Like
Hmm.
10% uses them for like uh, board meetings, staff meetings. But
Yeah,
most people, they were told they can keep staying working from home,
yeah, yeah.
even though they have plenty of space. I mean,
I think that we'll get to a point uh, where people will come back to the Bay Area again. A lot of people left because of the high cost of living and the fact that they could also work remote. But I think a lot of people are going to want to be in that collaborative space again, and they're going to want to come back. And it's there's even reports showing that for folks who want to start a new company outside of starting a fully remote company, the Bay Area is still the place to be. And I
oh
think it's
yeah,
because of
for
access
contacts,
to,
mostly for contacts.
yeah, contacts, venture capital funding. And I mean, if you look at things right now, right, like our weather is fantastic. And it's not
25% is open. I mean, most stores are open now.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, and I think the other piece is that if you go to somewhere like Austin, for example, it's a great place to be. It's a
It's
great
all
place for
open,
business.
100% open.
Yeah. But the other piece of it is if you're there in the summer, it is punishingly hot, right? It's
Oh,
very humid, it's very hot, and
they
it's
want
not
to
like the Bay Area where
oh,
if you're walking in San Francisco in the middle of July, it's probably still in the very, mid 70 degrees and it feels very
yeah, yeah,
comfortable.
smile. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, although in San Francisco, I mean, nobody needs a heavy utility bills with air conditioning to work here.
That is
That's
100% true. Yeah,
so you do work with the team on your job, correct?
I do. I do.
Oh,
I
and
have because we have a group of 45,000 people, we do have quite a few moderators who
oh,
are always monitoring what is being said in the community, approving new members, approving new posts, as well as
so
rejecting
you have a
posts that
few
don't meet our standard.
volunteers with you.
I do. I do.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. All right.
It's
Well,
very much a busy role, but it's a very I'm very grateful to have it because meeting job seekers at one of some of their most vulnerable points and having them trust you or trust part of what you have with your community to help them find work is a very it's a very gratifying and gratitude inducing opportunity.
okay, well, sounds good. Hope you visit San Francisco. Yesterday, I was at the Embarcadero Plaza. There was a huge gathering
Mm,
of people protesting attacks on Asians, and
mhm.
but it was a very mixed group of people. Though it was not just the Asian community; it was the whole San Francisco was there, and I taped it, and it was good for people to get back together again.
Yeah,
As a
yeah.
group. even though it's maybe just, but the people were like commingling and talking and eating, you know, for a good cause, you know.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
So I
Yeah.
hope to see you there one day, because they're gonna do it again and again until the problem is kind of fading away. I know I read on Facebook a lady contributed $1 million for the cause. So it's good that things are moving in the right direction. Um, thank you for participating in French American TV. And this is maybe what's your idea, which is your idea of the Roberts list, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, thank you. It's great to be here and hopefully reach a new audience. And
Yeah.
if anyone in your audience
Yeah.
is looking for a
So
new
the
job,
name of the group on Facebook is called Albert's List.
Albert's Job Listings and Referrals,
Job
San
list.
Francisco Bay Area. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yep.
Have a wonderful weekend, and
Thank you. Yeah. We'll talk soon. Thank you.
thank you.